Good morning, everybody. My name is Simran, and I'd like to welcome you all to our webinar this morning. And good afternoon and good evening to those of you joining us from around the world. So our webinar topic today is how utilities can improve operations using data integration workflows. So we're just going to do a quick introductions to those presenters today on the webinar. My name is Simran Ball. I am the account manager for utilities and telcos here with Safe Software, and I'm your point of contact for anything related to licensing, proof of concepts, or anything related to your account.
And I'm Tiana Warner. I do technical content creation here at Safe Software.
And I'm Tina Shaw. I'm part of the product marketing team here at Safe Software.
Great, thank you guys for the introduction. So just want to cover some agenda items that we'll be going through today. So we'll start off by introducing you to Safe Software and the FME platform, and then we'll dive into specific scenarios, use cases, and demonstrations. These will include data migration, data validation, and quality control, synchronizing data across systems and formats, deliver and distribute critical information beyond basic data types, subscriptions, and then we'll wrap it up with Q&A. Data integration tools such as FME automate everyday data tasks, which free up time and resources, allowing utilities to spend more time on other important tasks. In today's webinar, we'll share real-world examples of how utilities have used FME to free up time and resources to improve their operations. First, what do we mean by data integration? This is a process of bringing together data from disparate sources and turning them into something valuable and useful. With so many systems storing different types of data, we're trying to avoid data silos, where all of this data exists, but all independent of each other. By harmonizing these sources and keeping them up to date, utilities are able to extract real value from all of their information. Data integration involves converting your data between different formats, transforming it into usable schemas and data models, and performing validation or quality assurance. Then all of this gets automated to eliminate manual effort. Today, you'll get to see how data integration tools such as FME allow utilities to accomplish a variety of automation tasks. Our FME platform enables you to connect data between applications using a visual interface, as you can see here. You can connect your data sources by integrating and converting information across 450 plus applications using FME Desktop. You can then transform your data. FME offers a very large library of connectors and transformers, which enable data to be used and shared in whatever application is best fit for your purpose. You can then automate your workflows using FME Server and our automations feature. This allows you to free up your time and your team's time and the burden of repetitive manual tasks that are involved, ensuring that the latest information is always available to those who need it.
So here at Safe Software, we see utility companies using FME to integrate and distribute data for a lot of purposes: design and planning, operational efficiency, cross-team communication, asset management, outage and leak management, distribution network maintenance, sharing data with the public and stakeholders, and a lot more. The scenarios we're going to cover today show the 5 main workflows we see for utilities and apply to a lot of these use cases. Then towards the end, we'll do a couple of demos to show you how you can achieve these using the FME platform. So I'm going to start with data migration. This is a very common task, not just to move data from legacy systems, but also to convert and integrate new data as it arrives. A lot of utilities need to convert data from CAD to GIS or from GIS to CAD on a regular basis. So this is one place where a repeatable migration workflow comes in handy. To break down the scenario, then, the task is that you need to migrate data between GIS, CAD, and other systems. The problem is converting source data and integrating it with a destination, whether it's new data coming in or a legacy system. The solution is use FME to build a data migration workflow that connects to your systems. And then the result is your data is wherever it needs to be. Something FME does well is facilitate the process of migrating to the Esri Utility Network. So you can automate this data conversion process while maintaining data integrity and performing quality control. We have on-demand training available, as well as a tutorial to take you through this step by step, including downloadable workspaces and a list of helpful transformers. So in the tutorial, when you go to the migration package that you want, say for water utilities, and you download it, you'll get a zip package containing everything you need. So you'll get a nice big pre-configured FME workspace that you just have to tweak for your own purposes. You can visit our Esri Utility Network webpage and follow the links for resources. These slides and links will be made available to you afterwards, and you can also just search for Esri Utility Network in the search bar at safe.com.
And the second scenario is data validation and quality control. As a utility, you're constantly collecting and analyzing data from different sources and systems, such as data collected in the field, or you might be working with data from other departments like engineering, operations, and more. You might also be responsible of presenting data to stakeholders. This makes data integrity critical to everyday tasks, and utility companies are using FME to implement an automated quality control workflow. For example, you could create a self-serve data validation portal for field crews so they can upload and validate their data submissions before it gets integrated into the system. This ensures quality control and the integrity of all your data sets. So let's take a closer look in the next slide. So you know that you need to work with quality data to deliver valuable results, and you like to implement data validation and quality control as a critical step in your day-to-day data handling process before this data can be used. I mentioned creating a self-serve data validation portal earlier, and FME also has transformers to help you identify, repair, and filter out bad data, such as the geometry validator and attribute validator. You can then generate reports in commonly used formats like PDFs, spreadsheets, HTML pages that's then automatically delivered to stakeholders. The result is accurate, complete, and compliant data. Next, we'll take a look at two customer examples. So Georgia Power is an electric utility based in Atlanta, Georgia. The metering services team uses FME to compile and analyze data and perform data validation and quality control on various databases and datasets. In this specific example, they implemented FME to process a large database to then populate a morning report using business intelligence to provide updates to individuals only if their action is required. It also models databases from many sources to detect meter tampering, looks for anomalies in databases that applications can't see, translates data from legacy systems, feeds data to dashboards such as the automated metering infrastructure and meter equipment tracking system, various databases, and other systems including Microsoft BI, Tableau, and GIS server and portal. PNM is an electricity provider in the state of New Mexico, and the GIS department has used FME for many data automation tasks, including conversion, extracts, reports, analysis, data quality and improvement, and error checking. Using FME, they've implemented at least 25 workflows that run on a schedule. Daily processes include generating point features indicating bird-related outages for the environment department, and checking for accidentally deleted power poles in the database, as well as new service delivery data error checking. This has resulted in improved, more accurate, and value-added data, allowing for better decision-making and addressing new issues. It also saves members of the GIS department time and the company money.
Okay, let's talk about synchronizing data. So it's important for decision-making to have a complete picture of all available information. This means you need to integrate data from different systems. So across teams, both external and internal sources from both geospatial and business software. So we see a lot of people working with Esri, Autodesk, Small World, Bentley, Oracle, and others. And plus, all of these systems need to stay up to date and coordinated. This is why a lot of utility agencies implement data integration workflows, whether to bring data from all these different sources into one central repository, or to keep all these systems separate, but make sure they stay synchronized. For example, an application integration workflow enables every team to use the best fit for purpose applications like databases, engineering, operations, and finance, while keeping everything connected. One area where this is especially helpful is in distribution networks and operations. It's helpful to centralize all information into a single database because it becomes easier to analyze the data, share it with stakeholders, and generate reports. You can create one data integration workflow and run it repeatedly on a schedule or as new data arrives, which ensures the central database is updated on an ongoing basis and critical network information is always available. We have a few customers who use FME to centralize their data by automatically validating and loading new information into their central database. So breaking it down then, the task is you have to synchronize data across systems and formats. The problem is that it's hard to make decisions if you don't have a complete picture of all available data. The solution, use FME to build data integration and application integration workflows. And then the result, you can make informed decisions from data that's synchronized and up to date across all of your systems. In this type of scenario, you would set up a workspace to integrate all of your data sources. And then to sync the data automatically, you can set up an automation. And I'll show you how this interface looks shortly.
So moving on to the fourth scenario is information delivery and distribution, and this is about making information access effortless for everyone involved. We often see utility companies implementing self-serve information delivery for stakeholders to access and to provide the end user with the data and format that they need it in. So let's take a closer look again in the next slide. So how might we deliver and distribute critical information to important stakeholders such as the public, customers, design groups, contractors, or other clients? We need to ensure that the data is available in a variety of formats and it needs to be easily accessible. For example, you may be delivering critical, up-to-date information for emergency and risk management or informing customers of power outages and anticipated uptimes in their area. By implementing a data integration workflow using FME, you can get data into the appropriate formats and use an FME cloud hosted portal for sharing. The result is accessible data in user-friendly formats. So here's an example from Fortis BC, a natural gas and electric utility based in British Columbia, Canada. Their GIS team needed a more efficient way to assess wildfire threat to their assets and customers so their operations managers could take immediate action. They used FME to automatically integrate active wildfire data from the provincial government into their GIS. This workflow not only sends notifications to operations managers, it also provides drawings, reports, plots, Excel files, and KMZ files. The operations managers can then provide accurate information to emergency responders to reduce the threat, or if prevention isn't possible, work across teams within the organization to efficiently restore services. By implementing FME, they now have an integrated view of wildfires and assets for better decision making while saving time gathering data. Now I'll pass it back to Tiana for a demo.
Okay, so I want to show you a sample workspace that helps a water utility company fix reported issues in their network, like water main breaks or leaks. To fix reported problems, they need to gather information about the problem and report the extent and severity of the issue. So this includes figuring out where the closest valve is to the break so that they can go shut it off. So here's the workspace. The first step then is gathering data from available sources and preparing it for processing. So this file is a database of reported leaks. You could also gather this from an API or a web source. In our case, it's a simple CSV spreadsheet. And then the next three layers are pulled from our geodatabase containing information on water mains, network junctions, and control valves. So then we're passing the data along, making sure the data sets are aligned. And then in the next part of the workspace, we are focusing on the valves in the water network because that's the part we care about. Next, we're going to get a list of valves that need to be turned off in order to address this water main break. So this neighbor finder's job is to find the neighboring points. We're next going to get an area of interest by creating a bounding box and a buffer around the break. And then we want to pull in more information from other data sets to give the technician more info. So we're using the feature reader to get addresses from a map info data set, which we'll use to figure out who's affected by a break and how many people are there. So if there's an apartment building nearby, there's going to be a lot more people affected. Then we're going to get some background imagery. So an ortho image to just give the technician a better idea of the area. And then we are adding water network info to make sure that we're giving the technician all the info that they need. So finally, we write out the Excel report. The Excel writer here uses a template and different sheets. These are the layers here to apply formulas and create a report. So we're going to share this workspace with you afterwards so you can dive into it in more detail and try it out yourself. I just want to give you a quick overview of what it's doing. So this whole workspace is repeatable. It'll return the result depending on where the break occurs. So we can run this in the background and automatically send Excel reports to technicians if and when something is reported. So to do that, we publish it to FME server. Then there we can use automations to trigger this workspace when a water main break is reported. So I just click the publish button there. I can run through this, publish it online, and then it'll be on my FME server instance. So I have my FME server instance running in the cloud. So this is that URL here. This is the automations interface. So I built a simple automation here that triggers this workspace. It just runs in the background. It listens for an event. In this case, I have a Dropbox watch. So when a new file arrives in Dropbox, it triggers a workspace. This is the workspace running here. And then after that, it emails a report. So you could also use the workspace to decide who exactly to email if you wanted to get specific. You can also fully customize this. So if a Dropbox trigger isn't what you want, you could also set it up to run on a schedule, say every night, or to watch a directory, respond to a webhook. Let me just add. So you can add any pieces that you want here. So say we want to add a new trigger. You can see the list here of every possible choice. So you can like run it when a webhook is triggered. It's fully customizable. So then when you run the automation, you click start at the top here. This will just start running in the background. So it'll start watching for that trigger. When a report of a water main break arrives, it'll use that data to generate an informative Excel report with all the information that I need. And then it'll email that report to the right technicians so they can go do their thing. So there's lots of time and effort saved overall. I've got over here, this is what the output looks like. So you can see we've got an image here, we've got the valves in the picture, we've got a bunch of different tabs showing the technician all the info that they need. So for our fifth scenario, one of the most exciting things about FME is how easy it is to experiment with cutting-edge technology and data types. So it's straightforward to integrate new sources like drone imagery or to reroute your data to different output formats like game systems, or even apply various analytics and transformations to your data like machine learning. So by adding a different source or destination to your FME workflow, you can leverage new technology and come up with really innovative solutions. We have a few users already working with scenarios like these. You can connect to drone imagery, satellite imagery, or sensor data and incorporate this information with your existing data models. Sensor data can also help you build a smart grid and facilitate network monitoring, management, analytics, and planning. You can also connect to cognitive services to gather intelligence from your data, like natural language processing and computer vision algorithms. You can send data to augmented reality for easy visualization out in the field. You can send it to an interactive web visualization or even send it to a game environment like Unreal Engine so that you can let people explore your infrastructure in the real world, or sorry, in a virtual world. We have a few resources on all of these things on our website. So if you'd like to read about how to work with any of these data types, just type in the keywords in our search bar and you'll find blogs, tutorials, and webinars. So let's look at what our scenario expert, Dimitri, has come up with. The task for this demo is that we need to see underground infrastructure on an iPad while out in the field. The only way to do this without a shovel is to embrace new technology. So the solution is to transform your infrastructure data into FME AR and view it in the app. So the result then is that you can see underground infrastructure in augmented reality. By transforming your data in FME, then it's easy to experiment with new data types and technologies and enable innovative solutions. I've got a video of this in action. It uses the FME Data Express app, which can trigger your workspaces, as well as the FME AR app, which is used for viewing augmented reality files. So I'll play this. So when an end user opens the FME Data Express app on their iPad and clicks run on this workspace, it takes their current location and the radius, and they get back an FME AR file. So now they're able to view infrastructure for the area that they're in. So you can see that anchoring the data isn't perfect, but it's easy to correct it by just dragging it over with your finger and lining up a landmark. In this case, it was a fire hydrant. So now we can look around and see all of the pipelines. So on the back end, as an administrator, Dimitri set up a workspace that takes your current location and the radius, and then returns augmented reality data for that location. So I'll show you what the FME workspace looks like. Jump back over here. This one. So this is the workspace that generates an augmented reality file of the infrastructure in an area. So we start with user input, which is their location. And this comes in as JSON data from the FME Data Express mobile app. Then here in this bookmark, we've got a feature reader. So this reads a geodatabase of all the GIS data for the underground pipes. Collapse that again. So we're also styling the styles feature type. This takes Google Sheets as input, and it has a bunch of styling information. The rest of the workspace also styles and buffers and otherwise processes and prepares the data as a 3D model. At the end, it sends it out to the FME AR format, which we can pass to the app so that the user can explore it. So we're also going to share this workspace with you after the webinar if you're interested in looking at this in more detail. And I can show you here, this is what the AR data looks like when it's previewed in the FME Data Inspector. So in summary, data integration workflows can automatically handle your daily tasks, freeing up your time and resources so you can focus on what really matters.
Great, thank you, Tiana and Tina, for covering some of those real-world examples. So now that you've seen some real-world examples on how utilities can improve operations using data integration tools like FME, we'd like to share some flexible licensing options with you and how you can move forward with FME deployment. We provide flexible options for every organization. In the middle here, you can see the pricing model we've used for a very long time, where licenses are sold by seat on FME desktop and by engine on FME server. Annual updates and support are provided at 20% of the list price. This is ideal for small organizations or single department deployments, and for those who prefer ownership models. But the one we're finding very popular now is our new subscription pricing plan you see on the left. And we're actually going to talk about this option in greater detail on the next slide. On the right-hand side, you can see the cloud deployment option, and FME Cloud, which is the hosted version of FME Server, offers an excellent opportunity for cost saving and flexibility. You can get started with FME Cloud in minutes, eliminating hours of configuration time or an in-house server environment. This makes it easy for setting up proof of concepts where you don't have to invest in hardware or licensing, and also you can easily move over into production once you're ready. Now, Now we want to start. Now we want to take a look at a new pricing plan we have available for utilities, and with the utility subscription is a brand new pricing model we launched, and it's essentially an unlimited use of FME desktop and FME server, including annual maintenance for a single annual price. This subscription offering is available for electric, water, gas, and telco clients. The amount paid is based solely on the number of customers your utility serves. And with this, now all departments within your organization can use FME at no extra cost, saving you money and speeding up your projects as compared to some of those one-off licenses that you're used to acquiring under the perpetual licensing model. Our pricing is capped by your customer account. Now, if your utilities customer account falls outside of our tiered pricing, please talk to us as we have flexible pricing options, including our enterprise subscription for large utilities. This program is ideal for utilities wanting to deploy the full FME platform, including desktop and server. It's also ideal for utilities who are unable to afford the upfront cost of perpetual licenses. We understand that a lot of small and mid-sized utilities don't have the same budgets and resources available like large utilities do. Our lowest price tier is less than the price of FME server with one engine. This enables all utilities to use the same technologies that the largest utilities use, deploying successful architectures like test, development, and sandbox environments as needed. We're seeing the reach of FME expand and becoming more of an enterprise solution of choice for data integration across both GIS and IT departments. And we're providing this new pricing option to help you deploy the entire platform across your departments more easily. We want to provide flexibility and scalability so you can add FME licenses as and when needed. So I'd like to share some resources with you that are most relevant to the utilities industry. The first resource is a recent blog by my colleagues Tiana and Tina that covers the 5 data integration workflows for utilities. This actually includes some of the material you've seen on today's webinar, and so it'll be a great resource to refer back to. The next resource is our Industry Solutions webpage. This provides a great overview on the various solutions that are offered to our utility clients who are using FME. Also want to highlight the pricing programs that we just discussed earlier, and this includes the new utility subscription program for small and mid-sized utilities and our enterprise subscription pricing model for large utilities. And lastly, we also have an additional webinar that you might be interested in checking out. And this is a webinar done by my colleagues Mark and Trent here at Safe Software. They did this last year, and it covers meeting the demand for quality utility data, with also some really good industry-specific examples that you would be interested in seeing further. All right, so we'd like to take a moment and thank you all for attending the webinar today on how utilities can improve operations using data integration workflows such as FME. We'll be sticking around for any questions that you may have, and we're now opening up the floor for Q&A. Thank you.